Hey, everybody. Hello, and welcome back to our second edition of a live conversation with the authors of Revealing and Healing Three Women's Stories of Survival. I'm your host, Delina Hill Brooker. We have Anjanita Williams here. Say hey, Angel.
Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. We
We
are
also,
almost there.
we also have Rasha Hoosier.
Hello, everybody. Good evening.
So we want to thank you all again for joining us. We had a great time last week. We want to take the time out to ask you and invite you to invite your friends to join you while you watch us live. You just click over to the right, and it's like you're making a new stat. You just share as a new stat, say, join me watching this live, or I'm really liking this video. However you want to word it. I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but we would appreciate that. And leave us some comments so that we know that you're here, so that we can hear what you're saying, because we want to interact with you. And there will be a point where we will go through the feed and see what everybody is saying, if there's any questions, comments, and do that, because we don't want to just sit here and talk. We want to hear what you have to say as well. So let me see here. Last week was our first week, and it was a great week. I think it went great. We talked about how we came to write the book, Revealing and Healing. We also talked about some of the things that are, I call them hard forgive. So stuff that is like traumatic to you or really hits you deep to your core. Some of the things that we had to overcome individually. We also talked about how we had to forgive within ourselves as friends, three friends. And we also introduced Rain's story in video. So that was our first of our visual of the Revealing and Healing visual series. So we're going to get back into more of Rain's story later, but today we're going in a different direction, and we're going to talk about some other things. So we're all encompassing here, and we're just going to work this thing on out. Let's see here. Angel, how do you feel everything went last week?
I thought it went fantastic. It was great. I enjoyed having the conversation and just being open and honest. I enjoyed some of the things that we kind of discussed amongst ourselves and how we were able to, like, just our stories about being able to come together from us writing the book and from us, having these conversations and these hard conversations. So I thought it went, like, fantastic, and I can't wait for this week's as well. This is going to be, I think we've hit the nail on something here.
Rasha, what do you think?
The video, it just blew me away. It blew me completely away. And I think it blew everyone else away from the comments. And I was glad that we were interacting. I love that. So I'm an only child. So anytime somebody's talking and wants to talk and go back and forth, I loved it. So I like the fact that you guys were interactive and you guys were glad to see us back. So I appreciate that as well.
I loved it. I love the feedback. We got a lot of great feedback. I know between the three of us we spoke. People approached me at church or inboxed me or text or whatever while we were streaming and afterwards. Some people who had read the book and still to see the other side, or who hadn't read the book and was just like, oh my gosh, I need to hear more. Thank you guys for sharing your testimony. So I think it went really good. I don't want to call them kids. I really don't want to call them kids. The youth who were involved, the youth and young adults who were involved in helping create the stories, the visuals, they were on 9,000. They were excited to finally see, themselves on film and everything like that. So I thought it went great. I want to thank everybody again for helping make that happen. It was a really great time. So today we're going to go in a little bit of a different direction. We are going to talk a little bit about some of the awkward stages that people go through. I think everybody goes through an awkward stage where you're unsure of yourself, you don't feel attractive, because it will go for men too. Or there's certain things that you might be self-conscious about. And so I'm really going to let Anjanita go over, and I always call her Angel, so if I slip up, that's why. Deal with a lot of this topic, because this was a lot of what her character dealt with in the book. So Angel, take it away.
Okay, well, I think between coming here when I was, or coming to Indianapolis, should I say? I shouldn't say here, I should say Indianapolis. When I was 11 years old, and I came from a small town, and it was a culture shock, very much a culture shock. I kind of always struggled to fit in anyway because I was always taller than everybody. I was always bigger than everybody, and my hair was like a big old cotton ball on top of my head. Like I had hair, but the shrinkage was really real. Like for real, really real. Like my ponytail stuck out kind of like this or something like that when I had my little pigtails. And coming up in that, and then also being introduced to the whole paper bag theory. And then for those of you who don't know what the paper bag theory is you hold a paper bag to somebody's skin color, and if you're lighter than the paper bag, you're considered beautiful. If you're darker than the paper bag, you're considered ugly. So this whole concept of colorism was introduced to me, really, really early. And so I will never forget the time when it actually happened, how, people would kind of like gas me up because I was of a lighter skin hue. So I was supposed to be beautiful. I was supposed to have all these people just fall all over me and things like that. And then the paper bag test came and they talked about the skin color, and my mother's dark skin. So the very thought of my mother being ugly was going to cause fight. Like, you're not going to tell me my mama ugly just because her skin's a little bit darker. But that's when I really realized that it really made a difference. And so with that, being 11, I'm still walking around in ponytails. Like, I'm talking real ponytails. I'm talking balls with barrettes on the ends. I'm still really wearing little girl's clothes, although I'm almost as tall as my mom. And I just kind of have this weird thing going about me. And of course, I'm from the country, so guess what country people are? We are loud. We are loud. I will say that again. We are loud. And my cousins them used to always tell me, like, we are right here. You do not have to yell down the street to talk to somebody. It used to hurt my feelings because I couldn't help it. I didn't realize that I was that loud. And I was raised in a place where if you made eye contact with people, you said hello. Coming here, where it was considered weird to do that, was another culture shock. And not only that, I'm developing as well. So now I'm budding. I'm 11. I'm kind of like in that tween stage. That tween stage is really awkward when you're like 6th, 7th grade. And me trying to fit in was always really, really hard. And that premise of me trying to fit in caused me to make like a lot of bad decisions, and thinking that I had to do things that I didn't have to do just to get people to like me. And going through those phases in life and trying to really understand who I was as a person, I think that didn't happen up until after we actually wrote the book, and I really began to understand me, who I was, and not without any outside influences. So if you can imagine just being a fish out of water, plucked from what you know, into this city that's humongous with all these different types of people. Because honestly, I was only used to seeing white people and black people. That's all I saw. I get here and I'm seeing white people, black people. I'm seeing Hispanics. I'm seeing people from other areas. I'm actually running into people who are African. Like it was a real culture shock. And not only that, we were poor. So I didn't have very many clothes. Couldn't go get my hair done like I wanted to. And I never quite fit. And I was really uncomfortable with myself. And then leaving from, 6th, 7th grade, going into, being a freshman in high school, at that point, I had gotten pregnant with my son. So now I'm still in this state of awkwardness. I'm still in this state of not really knowing where I fit and where I belong. I'm about to be a mother. And so we taking all of my stuff into account, and then I'm having a child. So now not only do I not fit in, not only am I not, people know me just because of me being pregnant, and then the stigma that's attached to that. The stigma of being a teenage mother is horrible, literally horrible. I remember distinctly I had fallen. It was in December, and keep in mind now, Wintertime was real mild back in the day in Arkansas, like really, really mild. And so when we got here, there was another culture shock. I have to adjust to like the weather and stuff. But I fell while I was pregnant, and my mother took me to the hospital. And the nurse said, "This is a shame. You are too young to be out here having babies. You this, and that." And like I already didn't feel bad for one, you know. And for her to just say things like that, and at that point, my mother didn't say anything back to her, you know. And I now I understand why, but back then I didn't, because I really felt like really, really bad already. So imagine how that makes you feel as a young woman, not even a woman, a teenage girl, getting ready to have this baby when you already feel like you're in a bad situation anyway. So that added even more into my awkwardness, and it also kind of affected the way that, you know, men dealt with me. Um, Going forward, I'm out of high school now, and I still really don't know who I am. You know, I go to a college or whatever, and I start indulging in all these different activities, and things like that, and I'm still like I'm imitating the people that I'm around. I'm still not me, you know, still not who I am. So I'm moving forward, and the more I start to see the differences in between me and the people that are around, who consisted of family members and their friends and things like that, I begin to see a difference in who I am. And I'm like, you know, this is really not who I am. Like, I'm kind of over here somewhere. And it wasn't until I began to appreciate being alone with me, and having time spent with me and treating me different and treating me better, that I really began to see like what my gifts were. I really began to see the type of person that I was. I really began to see the type of heart that I had. And I really began to see how everything kind of falls into place. So during the just, you know, and I'm still a bit awkward. I think I'm socially awkward. Some people don't think so. I get nervous in social situations. I still do. At this point, I always feel nervous about them. But once I get in there and I'm in there, then I start to warm up a little bit. But initially, you can ask Rasha and Delina. I wasn't talking in front of people. I wasn't doing any of that. Like, that was going to be them two. I was going to stay in the background, which is where I wanted to be, because of me being that period of awkwardness. And it just kind of kept going. Just kept going. And I really didn't come to love the me that I am up until after we wrote this book, and I actually saw myself in black and white and realized it's been there the whole time.
Yeah.
I just couldn't see it. And that was my period of awkwardness from birth to now.
Yeah, I think that everybody has something that they've dealt with that they felt was awkward, or, like I said, unsure of themselves. Like, so for me, I was always that super skinny girl with super nappy hair. Like, my daddy was Kunta Kinte, or the first one off the boat. Like, even my mom would talk about how nappy my hair was, because my hair texture was totally different from hers. I don't think she was saying it to degrade me or make me feel some type of way, but it did. So on top of that, we were poor. I couldn't afford to go get my hair done at the beauty shop. So we would do the box perms in the kitchen. And it would be all right, but it wouldn't be straight like my friends at school. I made it work. But I was also self-conscious about my lips. I was self-conscious about when I started developing, because I'm one bone, you know, some people, one bone, or you look like a zipper, you know, just stick your tongue out, you'll be a zipper. And that was me up until I had my second child. So I had always been self-conscious about that. Like, even now today, I stay away from certain color lipsticks or whatever, just not to draw attention to myself. I'm not as self-conscious as I used to be. I'm learning to embrace that part of me. But it was a long time. Like, I was an adult before I became comfortable with me. And a few years ago, maybe about 7 years ago, I went natural. Well, no, I went back to being natural. I don't like to say I went natural, because that's how you already are. But the reason that I did it was because my daughter, she wanted singer hair. She would look at Beyonce and be like, "Oh, that's the kind of hair I want." So she wanted this long, straight, flowing hair that blows in the wind. Well, baby, I don't care how much flat ironing you do to your head and how much perm you put in it. It's not gonna do that because our hair don't do that. And so I couldn't preach to her, "You are beautiful just the way you are. You don't need these chemicals in your hair. You don't need to change the way you look to be beautiful." I had to model what she needs to look up to as beauty, and that was never a thought that ever crossed my mind. Because to me, I'm like, well, you don't need the. I was For me, it was more so you don't need those harsh chemicals. But yet I'm doing that to myself every month, every 4 to 6 weeks, because my hair grows so fast. But when I started getting my hair done by a professional, I got lots of compliments. But when I cut my hair off and went back to my natural hair, I've gotten more compliments on my natural hair, even when it was the teeny weeny fro, than I ever had with any permed hairstyle. And I used to rock whatever hairstyle I want. Like, I would change it up every month. I was a different person. I still do that. I change my hair. I'm not going to be the same next week. I wasn't the same last week. Like, there's always a new look. But she and I now embrace that. Some days she wants her hair flat iron, we'll flat iron it. And she'll be like, she'll YouTube videos for natural hair. And she's like, "Oh, Mom." So right now she has a mohawk. Work it, girl. And so she's like, "Mom, this hair is cute. I'm glad my hair can be curly. I'm glad I got these little, and we don't have to do nothing else to it." So she's happy. So she's embracing that. And maybe that's why I had to live through that, so that I can be able to empower her. And now she is a trendsetter. So all of her friends will mimic how she does her hair, or how she dresses, or whatever. And we let her dress how she wants to dress. We let her express herself however she wants to express herself, as long as it's healthy. And that's what we do. Because I'm sure there's something she probably is self-conscious about. It just hasn't come up yet. But just giving her those little bit of tools before it becomes an issue. And when trust me though, when she has a problem, she's gonna tell it right away. So, Raisha, you want to comment on that?
First of all, I want to say it tripped me out when Delina said that, because the first time I met Delina, I will never forget, she had on some overalls, but they were shorts. And she had the biggest smile and eyes that I had ever seen on a girl, and her skin was brown and beautiful. So when I first saw her, again, our children are cousins, so she was dating my ex-husband's cousin. And so I was like, "Oh man, you got a good one this time," because he had some other ones. So I was like, "You got a good one this time. She's so pretty." I thought she's tiny. She was tiny, but I was like, there's nothing wrong with that, because I was bony too. And I just thought she was a beautiful girl. And so when she's saying this now, and, with the book process, I was just like, what? And it's crazy how it doesn't matter how someone else sees us. If we see ourselves like that, if we see ourselves, we're not cute, our hair is nappy, all those things, that's what we feel. So our self-esteem is low. My own situation, I remember going to a therapy appointment. I don't know how old I was, maybe 13 or 14. And I remember the therapist writing on the paper, "This girl is 13. She has very fine features. She has a small nose and small slanted eyes and small lips." I don't know if that was supposed to be a good sign, but I was like, what does fine mean? Fine features. So I remember fine being a word I was always all about. Nobody ever called me fine. The boys didn't call me fine. The girls didn't call me fine. Nobody. But fine was always the word. So I'm like, this man is off, because I'm definitely not fine. First of all, I had the biggest head ever. Do y'all see that picture? My head is almost covering that picture. Like right here, the picture's covered. So my head was big. But I hate it, and it is big. But I hate it when people said it. Then my big old teeth with the two in the front and a big old smile. I hate it. I never smiled. I didn't smile till probably we started writing the book. I would smile just like this. And my kids would say, "That's not a smile." Everybody was like, "You look so crazy. You should just smile. You look even more crazy." When we did Distinguishedly Underrated with Angel and Delina, we did that event. If you look at the pictures, Delina and Angel are smiling. I look like a serial killer. I look just like this. And I said, dang, they would think that I'm like the crazy one, because they're smelling all big and happy, and I'm looking like I'm depressed because I didn't want to show my teeth. And then Angel talks about, the hair textures. We must be the Kunta Kinte sisters. We must be that, because they took me, I went down to Memphis to get my hair permed. They had me for the summer, and they were like, "Oh, your hair is the nappiest we've ever seen ever." They permed my hair, y'all. It did not take I came back to Indianapolis. I went back to Memphis for the next summer. They permed my hair with something, maybe the lie, maybe the other one was no lie, this one wasn't lie, and they was like, "This is the most nappiest, thickest hair ever." Then when I went natural, like you said, back to natural. The first time, oh no, you can't go natural, honey. Your hair is too nappy. Don't you see? It don't even look right with a perm. I would get my hair permed, my ponytail would still be this fat. Everybody else's was moving and it was long. My ponytail was this fat with a perm, like you said, box perm. So I always feel like my teeth is big. No boys like me, and I have the nappiest hair ever that wouldn't even take a perm 2 times. So I felt that way too. And now I can laugh about it. But man, y'all, that stuff cuts deep when you're younger and when you're growing up and when you're a teenager. Like when Angel said how her hair was a cotton ball, I didn't want to laugh because I'm like, is she okay now? Because you don't want to add to someone's hurt. But now we can laugh because we fine, honey. We all fine. We're not worried about what you think. Who cares? And we make sure our girls have that same confidence for themselves. And then one more point I just want to say, when Angel talked about being a teen mom, and Delina, you can probably speak to this too. We were all teen moms. You're not kidding. I'll never forget. I was going up the steps in my apartment and I was maybe 2 months. The lady lived behind me. Her name was Rebecca. I remember. And she was my mom's friend. And she said, "Oh, I knew she was going to get pregnant. I could always tell how I could tell y'all she was fast and she was going to get pregnant." And then someone else told me, "You like playing with dolls? Do you like playing with dolls?" No one uplifted me. I mean, my family did, but as far as people around, they didn't. And I know, guess what, y'all? Some of them were teen moms too. But when it came time to help me, and the people in the church, oh my gosh, that's a whole nother conversation. So that's all I have on that. But yeah, I could definitely piggyback back off of your stories, of course, because we had a lot in common. We have a lot in common.
Yeah, as far as me, like you said, being the teen mom, I didn't even have a lot of boyfriends. And then when I finally got one, I popped up pregnant because I'm trying to fit in and do everything. And so now I'm like, I'm already not sure of myself and my body. And now I'm pregnant and it's doing all these things and putting all these marks on my stomach. I'm like, well, why are you doing that? I had a six pack. At least that part was cute. Like, what are you doing? Why?
It sure was. I remember that six pack.
So, I mean, that's just a hard time to be dealing with so many things. So if you know somebody who is a teenager who is pregnant or going through something, don't put your negative thoughts on them. Keep it to yourself. Like, talk about it with somebody else. Don't put that, because you never know what effect that will have on that girl and what that will internalize into her baby. So keep that to yourself. Like, in real life, and being a teenage mother seems like the worst thing in the world that could ever happen to you when it happens. But guess what? For me, it was actually the best thing that could have ever happened to me. Because it made me, guess what I can't do? I can't be doing all this foolishness. I got to really get my life in order because I have this little person who's depending on me. That's
pretty much.
Yeah.
That's A1. That's definitely A1. Having to be able, or being able to, having to take care of somebody else during that time. And these are the things that you have to do. You have to get it done. There's no excuse for not getting it done. You have to get it done, and you have to be responsible. So it throws you into responsibilities like nothing ever does. I mean, there are grown women who are just not having kids who was like, oh my God, how am I gonna do all this? So imagine doing that at 15. Having to be that at 15. Like, that was probably one of the hardest things I can do. But the one thing I will say is that in the direction that I was going, because of my need to try to fit in, I don't know where I would be if he wasn't born. If he was not born at that particular time, doing the things and the thoughts that were going through my head at that point, and me and mom's relationship really ain't that great. Dad has pretty much abandoned me out here, and I'm seeking solace in all these other different places. There is no telling where I would have been had I not gotten pregnant. And so he put me on the path that I'm supposed to be on. That's how I look at that. I mean, I don't think God makes mistakes. I think everything that's done is done intentional, and there has to be something behind it. So him being born, was like, okay, so you already know you're an honor roll student. You a good student. So get your butt in the books because that's going to be your key to make sure your son doesn't repeat those processes, or at least try to attempt to make him not repeat those same processes.
Right.
So it's kind of been with him, like I would definitely say that. And going back to what you were saying, Delina, about your daughter, my daughter, I love my baby, and she is 18 years old. When I tell you that baby got confidence, baby, let me tell you, she has confidence. She has confidence that I have never had, that I did not have like that. She is so sure of herself. And that's because I try to instill that in her at every stage. Every time, you're beautiful, right? And I'm not just saying it, I'm your mama. And it's not just because you're outside beauty. It's because you're beautiful on the inside. Carry that with you, And so, our girls pay attention to what we do.
Absolutely.
Definitely pay attention to what we do and how we say things, and they follow us. And as she developed into her own personality, my daughter is so beautiful to me. She's so beautiful. And I'm really excited. She's headed to chapter 2 in her life. And I'm great. But I like to think it had a little bit to do with it. Just a little. Just a little bit.
I think that's great. My daughter is too confident, okay? You can't really tell her too much of nothing. It's a gift and a curse, child. Anybody know that my baby knows I'm telling the truth. I want to shout out to our live people here. Let me go ahead and look. I was trying to do it without it making noise, but it is. Let's see. Let's see who's watching. It's not showing me who's watching live.
Angelica, hey,
Maya,
Jelly.
Gabe, Tiffany, Lita, woo, 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 my girl, Monica.
Looks like Amanda's watching. Hey, Amanda.
Hey.
Hey, Pam. I see you, girl.
Oh,
I didn't know
see
no one asked any questions or wanted to add anything today. That's all right. I ain't going to cry. I ain't even going to get in my feelings about it. We're going to keep
But we want you guys to be interactive if you have something to say. We value your opinion and your comments.
Yes, because everybody's struggle is different or similar, and let's just talk this thing on out because there's no right or wrong answer. It is what it is. So before we go into showing the next video of reality story, I want to thank some more people who helped. I think I left out my husband last time, and that was not intentional, and he knows it. He had my back. He had my back, so it's gonna be all right. We ain't gonna cry about it. John Miami Brooker, thank you so much. Thank you so much. He did so much behind the scenes and in the scenes, and he was in the trenches with me. Again, Hoy Hackett the third. If you're looking for a videographer and stuff like that, that's your man to call. There is a special guest appearance in this video. Not gonna tell you who it is. You're just gonna have to spot him out for yourself. My pastor, Dr. Gregory Williams of Golden Memorial United Methodist Church, all of the youth and all of the youth leaders, Beanie, Brandon, Dondra Southern from Delivered Vessels, B&B Fish and Wings. G did a great job playing reality, like in real life, that is her personality. It was hilarious working with her. Sakari, she stepped up and was just like, I was like, I need attitude. And she was like, I got it. I got you, girl. Dameen, thank you so much. It was so much fun working with him because I don't usually work with the youth in that aspect, but we've really gotten a bond together. And the Wilson family, who is my family, my friends, my family. Thank you guys so much, so much. You actually might even see a bit of my daughter in the video. Just a smidget. So, and I think I've been working on that delay. I'm not sure if it took or not. So we'll test it out. But once again, I will post it by itself just in case it doesn't do it. Plus the video is shorter than the live. So I was going to post it by itself. Anyway, so just in case you can't hear the song as well, it's another original written by me, performed by Dante Williams, and produced by James Deering. I'm just trying to give all my people who just helped out a shout out because I appreciate you. Couldn't have done none of it without you, okay? And when you see the special guest, thank you so much, special guest. I done already text your people and thanked you again earlier this week. So I just don't want to say your name before it's shown on TV. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for showing out. Thank you guys for watching us live. Watch this video, enjoy this video, share it, leave comments. It'll be on YouTube as well. And if it is a delay, I promise I will have it fixed for you by next week. But let's get into this second video of the visual series. Okay. Let me act professional like I have some sense. Hold on.
I'm trying not to show all my teeth.
Girl, mine too, child.
I am showing all mine.
I don't know how to do no other kind of way. So let's see here. Can you guys see that screen?
Yeah.
What? But I'm only 14. What am I gonna do?
I once knew a girl who was just 16. Very much in this world, didn't know what life means. Headed out on a date with a man she barely knew.
Man, I just found out Rayla got pregnant. Man, I don't know how that happened.
Oh, wait. So you don't know how it happened? Didn't know that it was love. Now she's gone. Lost in this nostalgic life.
I swear, this all I handle this, you just a little punk, and you.
Girl, if you don't take your best self on
Now she's gone. In search for the lost and life. Yeah. Dropped off down the street from where she lived. Not even a good night kiss did he give. Naive to the picture and what it really is. Hurried home and freshen up to cover what she did. 3 months later, what did you know? Still no phone call and her belly's full. Contemplating different answers to this scenario. One night changed her life more than she'd ever known.
I saw the guest appearance. He is crazy.
I saw Shad.
That dude is crazy, ain't he? Like,
Hilarious.
he's a trip. Oh my gosh, he's so funny.
Now she's gone.
All right, let me go stop sharing my screen.
All
So yeah, the special guest was Mighty Duck, and I just called in some favors, and he came and surprised the kids. They didn't know he was. I'm sorry. I don't want to call y'all kids. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. He surprised the youth. They didn't know he was coming, and he just walked in. They were all like. So he took pictures with everybody, and just really came in and just. He was
And
like,
if you
"What do
guys
need
don't
to do?"
know, I'm sorry, Delina, I don't want to. If y'all don't know who Mighty Duck is, go to YouTube, type in Mighty Duck. Y'all will crack up. He's so silly. His family, his mom, his sisters, hilarious. So
They have some other stuff coming up too. So just be on the lookout for what he has going on. I think right now he's selling some sweatshirts and stuff like that. So
Okay.
go ahead and go and support him. And that's family, y'all. Just really thank you, thank you, thank you. So we will end this live broadcast for today. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We will see you again next Wednesday, the same time. Thanks again. Leave your comments. Let us know what you thought. Next week will be a totally different. Hey, Mel, see you, girl. Next week will be a totally different topic. We will be introducing video of our live
Dream.
I don't know what you're talking about. So thank you again for joining us. We had a great time. Looking forward again to the next one, and love and blessing.
Blessings. Bye, everybody.